Hello again, it's Dr. Jordan Taylor, Undergraduate Exercise Science Program Director and Associate Teaching Professor at the University of Kansas. Welcome to another episode of Fitness Facts. Today I will be discussing chicken eggs, which are a great food source of protein and other nutrients. There has been controversy for years regarding eating eggs and how their consumption impacts blood cholesterol levels and cardiovascular or heart and blood vessel health. Does consuming eggs actually contribute to heart disease and heart attack, or is this just a myth? What do you think? Should you be eating them? Let's examine the nutritional value of eggs and dig deeper into the topic of egg consumption and heart health. Chicken eggs are a highly nutritious food. An egg is comprised of two main parts, the egg white, known as albumin, and the egg yolk. The egg white contains mostly water, proteins, and some minerals. The yolk also contains proteins and several other nutrients, including vitamins and minerals, cholesterol, and fat. One small-sized egg has 12 vitamins, 11 minerals, all 9 essential amino acids, omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, as well as 2 carotenoids. Eggs are a complete source of protein because they provide all 9 essential amino acids that make up various proteins. Proteins are the building blocks of our bodies, and they have many important functions, such as contributing to muscle growth and maintenance. Both the egg yolk and egg white contain different proteins. Essential fatty acids are essential nutrients that we are required to consume through the diet as the body cannot make them. Eggs are rich in omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, which are vital for early brain development and overall brain health. 2 minerals, iodine and zinc, found in eggs have important roles in the human body. Iodine is required to make thyroid hormones, which are important hormones for healthy growth and the regulation of metabolism. Iodine is also very important in brain development during pregnancy and early years of life. Zinc is crucial for healthy growth and development, especially during periods of rapid growth, such as infancy and during pregnancy. Zinc is also needed for a healthy, functioning immune system. In addition, zinc is required for more than 300 enzymes in the body to catalyze biochemical reactions, so this mineral also plays a role in our metabolism. I won't discuss all 12 vitamins found in eggs in this video, but I do want to highlight 3 of them: vitamin B12, vitamin D, and vitamin A. I will also talk about choline, which is an essential nutrient similar to B vitamins, but it is not technically classified as a vitamin. First, let's review vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 helps maintain the health of your blood cells, nervous system, DNA, and brain, and reduces tiredness and fatigue. Next is vitamin D. Vitamin D works with calcium and phosphorus to maintain healthy bones, muscles, and teeth. Vitamin A contributes to eye health and helps strengthen your immune system. Choline is a water-soluble essential nutrient found in eggs that the body requires for cell membranes and processing fats. Choline is also needed for the production of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that functions to help with memory, mood, and muscle contraction. Eggs also contain the antioxidant lutein, which supports eye health. And finally, one other point that I need to make about eggs. Eating eggs has a satiating effect. After a meal in which you eat eggs, you will feel fuller for longer. This hunger-reducing effect may help reduce the likelihood that you will overeat extra calories each day, which over time, those extra calories could add up and they could eventually lead to weight gain in the form of fat. Now that you understand the nutritional value and potential health benefits gained by eating eggs, why do they have a bad reputation for contributing to the development of atherosclerosis and heart disease? Well, public opinion about egg consumption has lagged behind changing scientific evidence emerging over the past several decades. This lag in public opinion, coupled with newer scientific research, has led to confusion about the benefits or harms of consuming eggs, particularly in relation to heart health. Egg yolks gained a bad reputation for their potential negative effects on the heart due to their saturated fat and cholesterol content. The fatty acid profile of eggs is actually quite balanced though, with about 1/3 saturated fat and the remaining fat consisting primarily of the monounsaturated fatty acid known as oleic acid. Oleic acid is the same fatty acid that makes up most of the healthy fat in olive oil. In 1968, the American Heart Association declared that people should eat no more than 3 eggs per week. Throughout the 1970s and into the early 2000s, this decision seemed to make sense because high blood cholesterol levels are associated with heart disease, and eggs contain a good amount of cholesterol. As a result, scientific experts and medical doctors assume that by reducing the number of eggs you eat, you would reduce your cholesterol intake and therefore decrease your heart disease risk. We now know that assumption doesn't hold true, but the advice at the time seemed sensible and was easy to follow. So many people in the United States stopped eating as many whole eggs. In the last 2 decades, the original advice dating back to the 1960s to limit egg consumption to around 3 eggs per week was dropped by most health bodies in the United Kingdom and the United States, while limitations on dietary cholesterol intake in the United Kingdom were dropped in 2009. Although most countries removed dietary cholesterol restrictions from food recommendations earlier, the United States retained theirs until 2015. Why did scientists originally believe that consuming high cholesterol foods was bad for cardiovascular health? Well, older conducted studies provided 3 reasons or lines of evidence. First, animal studies showed that high cholesterol diets increased blood cholesterol levels, leading to atherosclerosis, which occurs due to a buildup of fatty plaque in the walls of arteries. Second, scientists found evidence that on a population level, people who consumed large amounts of cholesterol in their diets had higher rates of cardiovascular disease. And third, clinical studies demonstrated that eating cholesterol increased cholesterol levels in the blood. These 3 lines of evidence combined made a compelling case. Thus, the public viewed cholesterol as bad, and grocery stores stocked up on products that displayed low cholesterol or no cholesterol on their packages. However, there's much more to this story, and the details, as you will see, are important. Remember the 3 reasons or lines of evidence I mentioned previously? Although they once seemed to provide airtight reasoning against the consumption of eggs, none of them stood up to further scientific scrutiny. For example, some of the cholesterol studies conducted in animals were carried out in herbivores. Herbivores are a bad model to study the effects of dietary cholesterol intake because they only eat plants and they are particularly sensitive to dietary cholesterol compared with omnivores like humans. When scientists chose more suitable animals to study, they often supplied them with larger amounts of cholesterol than a human would consume in the real world. Furthermore, regarding the population level research, the original studies did find convincing correlations, which are associations, between high levels of dietary cholesterol and heart disease. But it is important to note that correlation does not equal causation. Just because consumption of high levels of dietary cholesterol is correlated or associated with heart disease does not necessarily mean a high intake of cholesterol in the diet directly causes heart disease. When scientists conducted similar yet more detailed analyses which accounted for a wider range of factors, they discovered that dietary cholesterol from foods such as egg yolks was not the culprit. This shows a key challenge when looking at single foods such as eggs in large-scale research trials. Humans do not just eat one food or compound in isolation, and the foods being questioned are always just a part of a whole dietary pattern. In this case, because dietary cholesterol mainly comes from eating animal products, people who consume a lot of cholesterol often also eat a lot of processed meat and dairy. And people who eat higher levels of animal products generally eat fewer plant-based foods, which itself increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. And finally, let's examine those older egg studies in humans. These studies had their share of issues too. They often used unrealistic amounts of cholesterol. For instance, one study had participants eat 6 whole eggs per day for 6 weeks. Also, the scientists conducting these early egg studies focused primarily on total blood cholesterol levels. We now understand that it's not just the total concentration of cholesterol in the blood that matters for your heart and overall cardiovascular health. Instead, it's the concentrations of good high-density lipoprotein cholesterol, known as HDL cholesterol, and bad low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, known as LDL cholesterol, and the ratio between them. Basically, you want to aim for achieving high HDL cholesterol levels and low LDL cholesterol levels in the blood to reduce your risk of atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. LDL cholesterol is known as bad cholesterol because it is found in atherosclerotic plaques that narrow blood vessels. These plaques can impede blood flow through the coronary arteries that supply blood to the heart muscle, and a significant blockage of blood flow can lead to a heart attack. So keeping LDL cholesterol levels low is one important factor for reducing atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease risk. But this is just one piece of a larger puzzle. Lowering other risk factors like smoking, high blood pressure, diabetes, hypothyroidism, and dyslipidemia, along with reducing refined carbohydrate intake, minimizing consumption of highly processed foods, eating an overall healthy diet, and doing moderate exercise can help reduce the risk of atherosclerosis and cardiovascular events such as heart attack. HDL cholesterol, known as good cholesterol, also serves as a biomarker for assessing cardiovascular disease. Lower levels of HDL cholesterol have been associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. In contrast, having higher HDL cholesterol levels and more HDL particles makes it easier for macrophage foam cells to remove lipids, which helps to reverse atherosclerosis in coronary arteries that supply blood to the heart. Although eggs are high in cholesterol, today we know that dietary cholesterol has very little influence over levels of cholesterol in your blood because the body auto-regulates cholesterol absorption, synthesis, and excretion rates based on your dietary intake. In fact, you may be surprised to learn that the liver produces around 80% of the cholesterol found in your blood, with the remaining 20% coming from your diet. Approximately 75% of the population display minimal to moderate changes in their blood cholesterol levels after consuming dietary cholesterol, and they are categorized as normal responders or hyporesponders. This phenomenon may be due to the absorption of only a fraction of the dietary cholesterol from the gut into the bloodstream, or a reduction in the body's own endogenous cholesterol synthesis due to increased dietary cholesterol intake. It's worth noting that minimal alterations occur in individuals consuming a cholesterol-rich diet, as the ratios of LDL and HDL cholesterol remain balanced with the increase in dietary cholesterol, proportionally elevating HDL levels. In contrast, some individuals may show elevated HDL and LDL cholesterol levels following increased dietary cholesterol intake, and these people are classified as hyperresponders. So if dietary cholesterol intake plays a small role in the blood cholesterol levels of most people, then what causes high cholesterol? High cholesterol can be caused by a variety of factors, including, number one, lack of physical activity. Not getting enough exercise can lead to higher levels of LDL, bad cholesterol, and lower levels of HDL, the good cholesterol. Number two, obesity. Being overweight or obese can increase your cholesterol levels. Number three, smoking. Cigarette smoking can lower your HDL cholesterol and raise your LDL cholesterol. Number four, genetics. Some people inherit conditions like familial hypercholesterolemia, which causes high cholesterol. Number five, medical conditions. Diseases such as diabetes, hypothyroidism, and chronic kidney disease can contribute to high cholesterol. Number six, medications. So certain medications, including those for high blood pressure and some antipsychotics, can increase cholesterol levels. Making lifestyle changes such as eating a healthier diet, exercising regularly, and quitting smoking can help manage and reduce high cholesterol. Meta-analyses conducted on prospective cohort studies have failed to conclusively establish a direct connection between atherosclerotic coronary artery disease and egg yolk consumption. Most well-controlled experiments have not discovered negative effects of eggs on health biomarkers. Most large-scale observational studies have also not found relationships with egg consumption and all-cause mortality or heart disease. A 2024 review paper by Raymond Hayward and colleagues titled "Debunking the Myth, Eggs and Heart Disease" summarized some interesting research studies and provided a conclusion regarding egg consumption that I agree with. In this review, the authors cited work by Montigui and colleagues who observed a significant increase in HDL, or good cholesterol levels, in individuals who consume eggs alongside moderate carbohydrate restriction. In addition, this review paper cited research conducted on obese individuals following a low-fat, energy deficit diet where only 1,000 calories were consumed per day by each individual. This study revealed that a breakfast comprised of 2 eggs exhibited no discernible variance in blood lipid levels compared to a bagel-based breakfast. However, a significant decrease in adiposity or body fat was observed in those consuming the egg-based breakfast, in contrast to the bagel-based option, indicating that substituting eggs in breakfast alongside reduced calorie intake contributes to body fat reduction. A similar 12-week study was also cited in the review paper, where incorporating 3 eggs per day within a moderately carbohydrate-restricted diet demonstrated an elevation in HDL good cholesterol levels without affecting LDL bad cholesterol concentrations, and the LDL to HDL cholesterol ratio did not change during the intervention. Additionally, research involving people with type 2 diabetes mellitus showed that eating 1 egg every day for 5 weeks lowered levels of inflammatory mediators like TNF-alpha and C-reactive protein when compared to a breakfast of oatmeal. The authors of Debunking the Myth, Eggs and Heart Disease concluded that, quote, eggs are incredibly healthy and make a great contribution to a balanced diet. They have antioxidants and notably decreased triglyceride levels. Egg predominantly carbohydrate deficient meals show the best improvement in lipid levels when compared to similar eggless controls. Avoid discarding egg yolks as they contain antioxidants, essential fatty acids, proteins, vitamins, and minerals that contribute to a healthy and balanced diet. Also, consumers must be aware of the media game, which portrays the illusion that eating their highly processed junk food is not as bad because the healthy egg yolks are also bad, despite the truth being that egg yolks are good for health, end quote. I personally agree with the author's conclusions in this review paper. So there you have it, folks. Eggs are highly nutritious and you can enjoy eating them worry-free. Current research fails to implicate eggs as the sole instigator of heart disease. It is generally considered safe to consume eggs without increasing the risk of heart disease in both healthy individuals and those with existing conditions. If you do consume a lot of eggs daily, or are in the minority of individuals classified as a hyper-responder to dietary cholesterol, I would recommend that you get periodic blood work done to make sure all your cholesterol levels are still okay. Also, if available, get an ApoB or apolipoprotein B100 test. This is a blood test that can tell you about your risk for cardiovascular disease. High levels of ApoB, especially when associated with higher LDL cholesterol particle concentrations, are the primary driver of atherosclerotic plaques that cause vascular disease, heart disease, stroke, and many other systemic complications after decades of progression. I hope you enjoyed this excellent episode. If you have questions for me about the KU Exercise Science program, send an email to jtaylor@ku.edu or call 913-897-8516. And as always, thanks for watching Fitness Facts.